on the top side and had no wind, but extreme heat, 37 Celsius, very hot. And no wind and no rain. You wouldn't know anything was going on. Crazy systems, John, crazy. We had all the wind before. My antenna's been lashed to the ground for the last month or last 3 weeks as the cyclone was moving down the coast and forming. So very crazy situation. But everything is to the south of us. We are right on the extreme edge, John, over.
Yeah, Roger. Dennis, I have a winger on the side. 235 is how would 235 be, over?
Roger, 235. Roger, 235.
Yeah, okay, just checking, and it looked free. Is the frequency free, ON80i?
No good, John, no good. Cover it up. Go back, wait here, I'll find one. We'll go down the bottom, stay here.
Yeah, okay, I'll stand by.
To 155, John, 155.
Yeah, 155 QSY.
VK4SX, a little difficult. A lot of low-level stations from Europe, John, but this is clear. I don't go, very, very seldom I go above 215, John, at all. But you're loud and booming. But anyhow, try now, John, on your side, over.
Yeah, Roger Dennis, 5 and 8, 58. It's amazing the way the signal changes when you change. But yeah, normally I'm talking to Wayne, VK2 VRC, who you know, and normally I talk to him down around 135 and even lower. So, but normally, as you know, when you go down that low, you get a lot of the guys coming in from the from Reunion and those islands, over.
Yeah. I hang around 140 to 188 to 190. Too much going on above. But anyhow, I had a second receiver on 230 for 25 minutes, John, and randomly called. I'd switch and randomly call to keep it clear. I always do that to have in the mornings when it's busy to have a frequency to hop to, and nothing came until you came on the frequency, and the moment you had one modulation, they started SSTV, and they do that every time, John, over.
Yeah, well, that they do that exactly right. And here's another thing that happens. And now this happened when I was a young lad, and this is, going back nearly 35 years. You'd be listening on a 2-meter repeater, and there was nothing for an hour, nothing. And once you start calling your friend or talking to your friend, lots of people coming in, can I make a call, blah, 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 over?
Still happens today, John. That's the human nature, the pig nature of an amateur radio operator. Never fails, still happens today. The repeater cannot be energized or broken open for 20 hours, and you can put some calls out and then they'll come in and want to make a call. I don't understand it. John, we have stations here in the same postcode in Australia, all using QRO, 3 or 4 of them talking across town, running huge power on HF, when they could be doing it on 146.5 with 2 watts over.
Yeah, Roger on that. Anyway, okay, Dennis, how are you, and how's the lady of the house, over?
All is good, all is good. Uniform Bravo, please. Suffering a little bit of arthritis in her lower back at the moment, getting some treatment, but she's feeling well. I had both shoulders done. I've had a terrible since August last year, but I'm using the GXP antenna now. I haven't spoken to you. My Ultra Beam couldn't get to 40 meters, as you know. 20 through 10 worked. 40 didn't work, but I like 40. So I built my GXP 13-6 with one arm version.
Uniform Bravo Pribel, Foxtrot.
And we got it up and got it commissioned.
Yeah, stand by, please.
Sorry, so I'm using the GXP 13-6 at the moment. Wonderful antenna. So static antenna from Poland, from Waldeck in Poland. Huge gain, wide space 20 meter Yagi, and it goes very well. 3 element, like a 4 element, and 2 element on 40 meters loaded goes very, very well. Better than my full size Yagi, the folded Yagi on the Ultra Beam. But other than that, no news. Still using my G2. I have another G2 now. I have a G2 Ultra with a 7-inch screen. And I'm using my G2 with no screen at the moment. So I got to get used to using the other one. I haven't used it as a standalone yet, but I've used it using Titus. I prefer to use Titus. But all good. No complaints. But great to hear you. You're 5'8" to 5'9", loud. But the band's a little sketchy. Of course, atmospheric conditions down here are a bit disturbed, John. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, congratulations on the new GXP and that you're very happy with it. I suppose you've read and you've heard a few people had problems with internal RF with the G2s, over?
Well, I don't know. I never heard. I haven't read about it. I don't know. I got the first production run G2, the one I'm using now. That was from February, March 23. And it's been, it gets used every day since 23. I've never had an issue, I don't know. No issue with the Ultra. The new Ultra has an 8-inch screen. Mine has a 7-inch screen. So it's the first production run of the Ultra, early 24. It was a friend of mine's and he's gone another direction. So he asked me if I would like it. So I sold my 7,000. And picked up this Ultra. I've only just had it a few months. I've only just turned it on the other day for the first time. I haven't heard that, John. I haven't had experience anything. I went through that in 2011, 2012, John, with the Apache 100, with internal RF and bad isolation and bad grounding and bad heating and all this business. But I've had no issue whatsoever, mate. It gets used every day. The only issue the bugbear I did have was everybody had with the first production run, that the fixed preamp on the balanced input port is too high, and you cannot use any amplification on any of the microphone inputs. So I just do not use the balanced port. But the balanced port on the Ultra is fine and works perfectly, John. Over.
Yeah, that sounds great. And Dennis, I'm still on the little Hermes Lite. Now, I do use the 7,000, every so often. But my go-to radio is the little baby radio, Dennis. Over.
Yeah, fair enough. You probably noticed the difference with the quality of the receive with the 7,000, mainly because of the extra processing power built into the hardware, John. Over.
Well, that is all subjective because some people, maybe they have not sensitive hearing. So I don't hear a great difference. But when I talk to local guys here and I'm on one or the other, they can't see the difference. And by the way, Dennis, the VK amp is working like a treat. So that's hooked up to the 7,000. And what my son did, he put both radios on the one PC, over.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yep, I'm running the both on the one PC and just go in and select the format in Titus when you change over, when the LAN port and when it activates or when the network finds it when you go in with whichever radio you want to use, just drop down the slider and pick up. I've only got G2s now, so both G2s, whether they're Ultras or anything else, they're all the same, but I know you've got to select Hermes or 7,000. But yeah, no, that works fine. No, I've had no trouble. Been doing that for years. I used to select the 7,000 or the G2, but I had two 7,000s in the early days. But yeah, no, that's fine. I use Dell Optiplexes, 7070s, i7s, with 64 gig of RAM, and they run at 3% and never had any problem like that. John, works fine. My network is 2.5 gigabit, all switches and all the cards and everything, so it works very well. Well, good news, the VK amp. I'm using the water cool one at the moment. I have a second water cool one being built. I shall get it probably in spring, and I will have one tube and two water cooled up. And I'm getting a laser tube killer, a laser tube engraver water killer with a 500 watt compressor in, and I'm going to have both water cooled amps connect up to a regulated thermostat aircon cooler to get rid of all the little fridges and everything I've got here. My system works perfectly. It's just at 33 degrees on the VK amps, but I've got a lot of hardware to get that. It's very, very efficient cooling, but there's a lot going on here, and it'll all come down to a 500 by 400 box when I get it delivered and plumb it all up and everything. But my water cooling is the most efficient I've ever had. But that's great, the VK amps. Well, they're very super reliable, John. Super reliable, and they will just keep going day in, day out. Honda sent me one in 22 to kill. I have the email here. I'll send you a 2 kilowatt air cool. Try and kill it. If you kill it, send it back. I'll find what's wrong. I'll report and send it back, blah, blah, blah. Well, I done everything to it that I could, and nothing. I could not stop it, John. I could not stop it, over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, well, thanks to you anyway. I got great service. It arrived within a month, and I've got the 1 kilowatt version. But all I ever use, Dennis, hand on heart, is between 500 and 550, over.
Yeah, well, that's everything smooth, good curling, and everything's beautiful, and the fuel signal locked up. And did you get the minimum input attenuator? You know you can change the attenuators yourself if you wish, John, over.
Negative. No, I got the so I'm using the VK amp with the 7000. So I got the one with the internal. I think they're all coming now with the internal coupler. So there was nothing to do, over.
Yeah, okay. But if you wanted to, something happened and you won the lotto and you got another VK amp, 2 kilowatt one or something, you could put that 1 kilowatt amp on the Hermes light and just pop the lid off and go to AliExpress or eBay and buy a lower value attenuator module. And they just unscrew and screw in with SMA connectors, John, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, just out of curiosity, if you've got a photo of that, he did talk to me about it one time, and for the moment it's not needed. But if you have any documentation, I welcome it, Dennis, over.
Yeah, I'll talk to Honda. I'll see if I can find a photo here. They're just a little module, John. You just buy them, they're $20 or something. The guys with the amps have bought a selection of them, so if they want to go back to a boat anchor and they want to use ALC, they put 30 dB or whatever in, and they can use the ALC and use about 35 watts drive on a boat anchor into the same amp. And then if they want to change back and they want to go to a Hermes light or a square SDR, they put the low value in and maximum power at 3 watts. Half power at 1 watt or something like that, John, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, the way I have it, Dennis, and well, you have your station, you've got the 2 radios on the one computer. I have the Annan on the right with the VK amp, and on the left I've got the Hermes. So when I come into the shack, I can make the choice, and it works really well. But I have to thank you, because I remember talking with you and listening to you, and you have to say, with these radios, because of the software, the audio always sounds louder than the signal, over.
I'm just taking a photo to send you. Okay, the audio You mean the received audio that the receiving station hears in the headset appears to be louder in relation to what the signal meter reading is. Is that what you're getting at?
Negative, no. It's the station that's hearing me is hearing me louder than my signal, over.
Yeah, well, there's no IMD on the audio, John. There's no IMD, no audio artifact. So what they're hearing is a minus 65 signal, pure signal with no IMD, with highly compressed audio in a 3K bandwidth. So yes, that's understandable, John. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I'm totally happy with it, Dennis. VK4 Sugar X-ray ON 80I for ID. Yeah, well, I'm very happy that I went down this road, over.
Sorry, John, I stuffed my photo. I just sent you a photo by myself. The shack's a bit of a mess, but I just sent you a photo. And you'll see both a G2 side by side, one with knobs and one not with knobs, one with a red light. And you'll see there's a 2.5 kilowatt water cooled underneath. And to the left, you'll see a 4 kilowatt Hotel Alpha 8 Delta uniform, a DU 3500 AL automatic tuner from Peter in Hungary. And that's the operating station. Of course, there's more stuff on the ground underneath on dollies under the table. But this is the go-to stuff there, John, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, Dennis, you've got a tremendous shack and you always get out very well. I wonder, do you ever speak with Dr. Peter and company, over?
Dr. Peter, which one? VK4SX?
Negative, no. The guy in, I think the guy in the States, over?
Oh, I'm not sure. No, I can't. I have been swapping emails with a lot of guys in the States that have moved. They blame me for spending their money, and they've moved to Apache Lab, in 2020, and then they moved to VK Amps in 2022. So I swap a lot of emails that just come in randomly, John, in the last 5 or 6 years in regards to Apache and VK Amps, over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, a little birdie told me that VK2SR was spotted this morning with an Anan 100D, over.
Oh, okay. Wouldn't surprise me. He's been rubbishing them for years. I've known these since he got licensed, Chris. When I had a K3, he rubbished the K3 and reckons they were no good, and now he got a K3 and reckons they're the best thing since sliced bread. So he's been rubbishing the NAN since 2011. Wouldn't surprise me because you can't get a minus 60 to minus 70 IMD third order signal out of anything else other than in the NAN, John, over.
Yeah, exactly right. So anyway, that's the latest news from a little birdie, over.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, one of them big flightless birds, probably. Okay, very good. Well, you're a terrific signal. There's no way in the world, John. Look, I told the story, Elaine. I spoke to, I have a friend of mine that I speak to quite regular, and in Europe. And I told him the story, and he had a similar, he mentioned it first. He had a similar story when he made a statement about the 7851. And of course, he was bombarded with random emails from guys who've seen his review, and then he, blah, 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 read the radios. So I went to ICOM home in about 2012. I went to ICOM. And then I still had a couple of Yaesu, but Yaesu was behind me. I went to ICOM. I did put the advert in, ON80i, VK4SX. And I had a little play with other radios and everything. I had all the top ICOMs, 7800, 775, 7610, Then 7851. Well, in 2020 I had a 7851, 7610 and a K3S. Excuse me. A K3S all on the same switch. And then, John, I got the 7000 DLE. And in 2 weeks they sold the lot. Well, I got over 100 emails in the next following month, John, asking me if I'd lost my marbles and why would I sell a 7851, blah, 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 blah. You have no idea of the abuse I took until I told them that, they don't know what they're talking about because they haven't actually used the hardware I'm using now. Well, I have not reverted back. I've stayed with after the 7000. I've moved on. There's no way in the world I'd go back to an analog radio with knobs, John, over.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with that. And, before that I had the 7300, and that's a good little radio. But when I turned on the 7000, I think I turned on the ICOM once or twice, and that was it. Over.
Oh, a lot of guys in that boat, of course. The 7000, the guys that don't understand, who came from boat actors to the 7000, they didn't understand how to drive the radio because of the direct conversion. And they hated the radio, and it wasn't the radio's fault. It was because they didn't know how to drive it. So I had, mate of mine's the ICOM dealer. I had the first 7300 that came to Australia or left Japan before anywhere else. Never even got to Europe or North America. Came to Australia first. First week in March 2016. I didn't like the radio because of the hot front end. Once I learned how to tame it, it worked it fine. But the other guys did not like that idea of what I did on how to drive it. I wrote a few papers on it and whatever. And then I ordered the 7610 in August 2016, and I got it in October 2017. I had it for 5 years. But wonderful radio in the right hands. But the guys that had them and sold them in a week and everything, I know like 50 or 80% of them bought the radio back again after 12 months when they learnt, watched someone show them how to drive it. And all it was to tame the receiver. So it can be done. There's things you can do they don't understand. I think all the signal coming in the front end is the only way to tame the radio, but there's other things. It's the shape of the received signal that takes the noise off as well, with the EQ on the receiver as well, But a lot of them couldn't be bothered. They wanted to take a $1,000 radio out of the box, turn it on. They wanted it to be as good as the 7851. Well, that'll never ever happen, but 7851's a good radio, but, I had them all here on an ES4 switch into an Ultra Beam VL23, and I used them for years, so I felt I was competent enough to make a comment on it. And the 7000 made them look like wheelbarrows, John. Okay, mate, I've got to go and make coffee. Great to hear you. I thought I just wanted to say good day. But that's great, yes. Two sets of different platforms on the 1 Titus is doable. Just make sure when you turn your 7000 on that you give it 2 minutes to start the SDR hardware before you go in and select 7000, then click go. It likes to run a little bit longer than normal. Same with the G2. They like about 300 seconds when you press the button, like heating up a tetrode amp, because they have to start the Raspberry Pi and everything inside. So I've been instructing a few guys in regards to that, changing platforms. But no, it's a wonderful thing, a wonderful hobby. Okay, mate, have a nice weekend, and I'll get a photo of those attenuators. 7373, stay safe, over.
Yeah, Roger, Dennis. Dennis, just two things just before you shoot off. One, I built an 8.3 meter boom Yagi with 5 elements for 10 meters, and I'm in the business of putting it up. I'll put it up temporarily tomorrow with the help of the family, and then in about a month or something like that, I'll get it up to about 15 meters. So I look forward to a few contacts with you on 10 meters. And the other question is, and I didn't really get, I probably got what you said, but Alfred, for example, if you open the window now, is it very windy and is it very rainy? Over.
No rain and no wind. The wind is the last 10-minute average is only 8 kilometres an hour and no rain. We are just on the topside edge. If you look at the atmospheric maps and the weather maps, we are on the very top edge and we are not getting anything at the moment. But we will later next week. It'll move and gravitate towards the north next week, John. And we will get some rain. We can do with some rain, but we don't want a metre of it, that's for sure. Okay, 7-3. We'll catch you later, mate. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Dennis. Thank you very much for the call and great conversation as always. VK4 Sugar X-Ray, Oscar November 8 Echo India. Bye-bye from Belgium, Dennis. Over.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to comment on your 5-element Yagi. Yeah, very good. Well, this Yagi I got from Golf X-Ray, the power has 5 elements, 5 white-spaced elements on 10 metres. And 4 on 12, 3 white-spaced on 15, 3 white-spaced 17, 3 white-spaced on 20, 2 on 40, but 5 on 10, John. So I'll keep an ear out for you, sir. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Dennis. Thank you. Bye-bye.